Hello there and welcome back to South Devon and welcome to the lovely town of Dawlish. This little river you see behind me here is called Dawlish Water. And I thought today, as a little bit of a different take on Dawlish, because we've done Dawlish in a separate video on this channel, just scroll right down those videos and you'll see it, as we did Dawlish in winter, and we'll do Dawlish again in the summer. But I thought this time, let's go up the arse end of Dawlish, if you like. But it is actually very, very nice. So most people know Dawlish for the seafront and for the park area, but this is Dawlish Water, and it does take you deep into the countryside, and it gets very pretty indeed. We're going to have a little wander, and you, of course, are what?
You're coming with us. You're invited.
You're invited. Let's go. Come on. So when you're at Dawlish, if you just walk up the river, through the parkland, cross the road, and all of a sudden you come to this area, which is the back part of Dawlish. This is Dawlish Water, and there's some lovely little properties with pretty gardens alongside the waterway, and even a lovely little weir. Look at that, Nina, isn't it gorgeous?
It's beautiful, but it's that birdhouse.
Look at that lovely birdhouse across there as well.
Fantastic.
Right, onwards and upwards, let's go. Yes, lovely up here, isn't it? We're literally 200 yards from the town centre, if that. And it's a different world. We're just actually at the back of Dawlish Hospital here. Look at these lovely little properties with a little courtyard. It's a nice place to have your barbie there. Another little weir. This is very nice. Most people who visit Dawlish never get to see this. And what is really nice about this part of Dawlish is the beautiful gardens that are alongside the waterway. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And even a cute little bridge, which is just for the use of the residents as well. And then just as you come through here, just to emphasise what a lovely part of Dawlish this is, you got a little bit of a park as well. All nicely mown for us. You see they knew we were coming. This is very pleasant, isn't it? And it's going to get better, so don't tune away. There you are, nice little park and a play area for the kiddies as well. You know, I've no idea what this place is here. A very grand house up the top there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is. Maybe some sort of community centre, do you think, or something?
I think it's called the Riverside Centre, but I don't really know what it does, if I'm honest.
Any Dawlish people watching, drop me a note in the notes below and let us know what that is. And then up here, beautiful grand house. And the park spreads both sides of the river. Look at this, how lovely. Palm trees. And another weir down here. Beautiful. Not the black swans up here, they're further down towards the seafront, but I think occasionally they may come up this far, but usually they're further down in the town itself. Yeah, Dawlish Water is the main waterway that goes straight through the centre of Dawlish. It actually starts right up on Mamhead Hills, quite near to the obelisk, which we did in a video quite recently, so watch out for that. It's further down in the videos. And it also runs through the beautiful village of Luscombe, and we showed you the gorgeous part of Dawlish Water there as well, where it came under the bridge. That was very pretty.
It was lovely, that was. A total surprise.
And then it runs through stunning, beautiful countryside, through a lovely valley, which you're going to see later on in this walk, and then down here, and then into the town, and then eventually out into the sea. A really pretty waterway. It doesn't run for many miles, but it is really, really lovely. So you come out the back end of the park and back onto the road just for a short while. Some lovely old houses at the back of Dawlish. This is Barton Crescent as an example. Some really, really grand houses along here. Lovely old thatched cottage. This is called Midsummer Cottage, an old Devon longhouse type thatched building. And then here is what I guess is maybe the biggest church in Dawlish. This is St. Gregory the Great. Let's go and have a closer look. Okay, Nina, what have you found?
Well, there's a little stone down here to Bill Millin, And he was a bagpiper who, aged 21, was killed. He's the last bagpiper to play during the war. And for the D-Day landings, he played the bagpipes to lift the morale of the troops.
Wow, what an amazing story.
From Dawlish.
And he came from Dawlish. Quite amazing.
Yeah.
And the war memorial to the memory of the men of Dawlish who fell in the Great War, 1914 to 18. Little notice board about St Gregory's Church here in the historic heart of Dawlish. For hundreds of years the most important events in local people's lives and the life of the community were marked here. And I've always just driven past, or we have walked past here a couple of times, so let's have just a bit of a closer look. We're in the churchyard, and just in the corner there's that very curious looking structure over there. I'm just wondering what it is, so let's go and have a look and see if we can find our way a little bit closer to it, maybe through this gate on the right. Right, so Nina's found out a little bit more. What can you tell us?
I have actually, yes. These are the elaborate family vaults of the Hoare family of Luscombe Castle, which isn't far away, and it's now roofless, obviously, built of sandstone. 3 openings to one side, 4 to the other, and it was 1865 George Gilbert Scott, the architect, actually designed them, and it's now a listed building, so
wow.
It has to remain like that.
I've tried to see if we can get a little bit closer, but I'm not quite sure how you get there. As you can see, the graveyard's quite overgrown. This gate, I think, is into a private garden of that house there, so I won't go through there. I've been told off already this week for being in the wrong place. But this is the main part of the churchyard. As you can see, it's quite overgrown, but it's got a lovely old atmosphere. And apparently the oldest grave in this churchyard dates from when did you say, Nina?
1710.
1710.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Originally, there was a Norman church that stood here, and there's one little bit left of it that's on the ground somewhere, but whether we find it, I don't know.
Oh, well, we can have a look, can't we?
It's a ram's head
right.
carving.
Like many churches in this part of Devon, very big tower. Very attractive place. It's so peaceful here, you wouldn't believe you're just at the back of Dawlish town. One thing I love about old graveyards is some of the names that you would never see nowadays. Here is the grave of Ebenezer Pardon, died in 1861, aged just 40. But what a great name. So you were only 40 years old, Ebenezer, but your fabulous name will live forever here in Dawlish Churchyard. George Babb died in 1800, aged just 19, and a lot of the graves overgrown by brambles. I don't know if they've got a Friends of the Churchyard Society like we have in Teignbridge and like they have in many places, who go out with their strimmers and clear it all off. Looks like maybe not here. A bit sad, isn't it? But anyway, there they are, still sticking above all the undergrowth. And look at the very cute little back entrance to the churchyard and the little shed next to it. Now, if we were in Greece, which we will be later on this year again, and I'll show you some examples of this, that would be an ossuary. And in Greece, after so many years, they dig them up again and they clean off the bones, put them into a box, and they live for the rest of existence in a box on a shelf in a shed in the corner of the graveyard. Not terribly dignified, but that's the way they do it there. I don't think that's what this one in Dawlish is used for. Anyway, here we are, and we're back out on the path. We're back out on our way up to the beautiful hamlet of Dawlish Water. And we're onto a little wooded bridge, and oh look, there's a stream down there.
Is this the stream that starts at Lidwell Chapel?
I think, you know, it could well be, because that valley runs off to our left, up past Luscombe, and then up towards Lidwell Farm eventually. So I think, yeah, this does probably start up in the hill near to Lidwell Chapel, which of course is where the mad monk lives, that you can see on a separate video on this channel, and I survived him. Have a look down down the list of videos. Right, we're carrying on. It's such a lovely walk, this. If you come to Dawlish, please do this. It's really beautiful.
Quite flat as well.
Yeah, a very easy walking.
Not a difficult walk.
And look at this beautiful archway here. I think, but please again correct me if I'm wrong, that this marks the boundary of the Luscombe estate. I'll tell you about that as we walk more up the lane. That lane continues up towards Lidwell Farm and the haunted chapel, although you don't get to it that way, you get to it off the higher extra road out of Teignmouth, but that's on a separate video. There's a lane that splits off to the left, just up the lane here, and that will bring you up onto the Holcombe Down Road between Dawlish and Teignmouth, and you can take a left from there and go down into Holcombe Village as well. Lovely, pretty cottage. Right, we've got a little bit of lane walking to do, but we'll show you the entrance to Luscombe Castle. Yes, we do have a castle around here of sorts, and Nina will tell you a little bit more about that when we get there. Now this is, if not the main entrance, certainly one of the entrances to Luscombe Castle, with a pretty little lodge house there. The castle is further up that driveway, quite a way, a few hundred yards up there, I think.
Yes, I can just see the edge of a church actually.
Yeah.
It was actually bought by the Hoare family, H-O-A-R-E, same as the monument we've just seen where the vaults are. But he bought it in 1797 and promptly knocked everything down, and then commissioned, guess who, but John Nash.
Oh, the famous John Nash.
Yes, the famous John Nash as the architect, and Humphrey Repton to do the gardens.
Fabulous.
And it's all got Portland stone, it's got parapets, turrets, pinnacles, and it does look like a proper castle.
I'm not allowed to show you any pictures of it because sadly this is private property. Occasionally they open it up for like an open gardens
about
type.
3 weeks ago we missed it.
Yeah, occasionally. It's not generally open to the public, but occasionally they do charity events there. I've never seen it myself, but apparently it's a stunning looking house, and it's got its own chapel as well.
Yes.
Righty-ho, we've reached a junction, and we're going down here to, not Ashcombe, but
Dawlish Water.
Dawlish Water. And Dawlish Water isn't just a river or a stream, it's also a hamlet. And the second we come down the lane, here's a classic example of old beautiful thatched Devon cottages. Look at this, isn't this just beautiful? And as I always say, quintessential Devon. Are you lost? I think you might be. Really is a beautiful valley. You're literally just, what, a mile back from Dawlish inland. A beautiful valley with Dawlish Water running at the bottom of it. We'll be crossing that again in a second. Look at this. How many people see this? Not many. And here we are now, just entering the hamlet itself of Dawlish Water. Some old cottages on the left hand side. Some very nice properties along here. Very big house there. Farmyard. Very peaceful. And here we are. It's so nice to see a little village, a little hamlet like this that's not lined with cars, which unfortunately spoils the view in so many places like this. Nice houses right and left. Farm on the left. And a very intriguing thatched cottage in front of us as well. So here we are in the city centre of Dawlish Water.
I was just reading about a dog show that's going to be taking place this weekend.
Right here.
Actually, from here into the village.
Some lovely old cottages. It really is so quiet up here. Right, let's carry on. And this is a collection. It's a little gated community actually. Part of the old Radford Grange, I think, which I guess was once one property and has now been split into several. Nice thatched cottage there, and if you want to buy one of them, number 5, as we speak, is for sale. It could be yours. Now this has changed since we last walked along here. Last time we walked down this way, you've got the big old farmhouse up there, and they were doing building work, and this is the result.
Fabulous.
And very nice as well. Rixdale Farm, lovely. What a beautiful position they're in. Anyway, we're going to bear right and head down the hill, and we're going to rejoin it with our good old friend Dawlish Water. And here it is. Here's Dawlish Water once again. Pedestrian crossing on the right. But I'm going to be a rebel and walk across the vehicle crossing. Nice little babbling stream. Nice for your doggy to go and have a drink and a paddle in.
Imagine if the water was at
Oh
the
yeah.
foot.
So I'm guessing by that marker there that at some point it has been.
Yes.
And of course it comes down from the Mamhead Hills, this stream, doesn't it? Which is about another, what, 2 or 3 miles?
I would think.
But of course, when you've had very heavy rain, yeah, this could build up. I bet this could be quite impassable, but maybe not for a long time, not in our time in Devon anyway. So having crossed the valley, a beautiful view across the hamlet there of Dawlish Water. Isn't that just lovely? Some sheep here having their lunch. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, this is the lane that we've walked up so far. Still more to go before we reach the back end of Dawlish once again. There's that lovely house that we just mentioned where they've done the new bit. Very nice indeed. I do love a nice gateway, and this is a very nice gateway. And another nice view of Dawlish Water. What an idyllic place. Is it really as idyllic as it looks to live there? If you live there, let us know in the notes below. And eventually, after a long walk down the lane, we come back into civilization, and we're going to turn into the back end of Dawlish. Now this, just show you this is Empson's Hill. That is a steep hill, it goes on for a long way, but if you climb up there for about, I don't know, a few hundred yards, and then you can take a stile on the right, and it takes you all over the top of Dawlish, stunning views, and then you come back down into the town through a sort of series of passageways and alleyways between the houses. It's actually very, very scenic, so that's another walk you can do if you're staying in this area. And here we are, back into the back end of Dawlish. But I'm not going to finish the video just yet because there are some quite interesting buildings to show you that I bet most people who go to Dawlish never actually see. So we're in Weech Road in Dawlish. This is a little bit of a sad building here. Tell us all about it, Nina.
Apparently it's the old vicarage. It's a Grade 2 listed building, and it's just suffered over the many years and just getting more and more deteriorated. It's known because it was a unique cob and stone construction, and its former use as a vicarage, stables and coach house. It's been empty for nearly a quarter of a century, and it's been going ongoing attempts to save it with proposals, but they just never seem to get anywhere. It's a real shame.
What a shame, isn't it? Because it could be absolutely gorgeous. Never mind. Here's a lovely little side street here, Padlake Hill, some lovely old thatched cottages. Some nice thatch animals on the top as well. So the start of Weech Road in Dawlish, and one of the lovely old pubs of the back streets of Dawlish. There's quite a few of these proper pubs. Good to see this one still open as well, the Swan Inn. Been there since 1642. So a little information board here. We're on the Dawlish Heritage Trail at this point, and you can see what the street used to look like back in the old days, lined with shops and businesses. And one of the old bits still left of the old street is the drinking fountain across there. And look at this, isn't it lovely? Praise God from whom all blessings flow. CD March 1877. And this is the Manor House, home of Dawlish Town Council. What a beautiful old building it is. But even more beautiful, look at that tree. Isn't that just magnificent? And an old school here as well. Back in the day, that would have been full of screaming kids, no doubt. Playing ball in the yard and all that sort of stuff. And right on the corner of this building, probably the cutest sign in Dawlish. Look at this. You must read Hints to Dog Owners, the most practical book on dogs ever printed. Price just 2p, or 2 old pennies. Isn't that just lovely? Actually, so much to see here in the back streets of Dawlish. There's quite a lot of shops up here, and then a little row here, the Euronics shop, and then another one of the old pubs of Dawlish. This is the Lansdowne. And we're still not on the main shopping street of Dawlish, but lots of lovely little independent stores, including a lovely looking little bookshop which I've never noticed before. And here's one of the iconic old buildings of Dawlish. Nowadays I think this is private apartments, but it used to be a hotel. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that there used to be a hotel here in Dawlish that was run by the railway companies, and it was used as a holiday home, and also to rehabilitate and get over injury for people who worked in the railway industry. and they used to travel from all over the country down here to Dawlish to take in the Devon air, take in the waters on the beach, and I think this may have been the place where they stayed, but if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me in the notes below. The bowling green is looking gorgeous. And finally on this video, here we are once again reunited with our lovely friend Dawlish Water. We've seen it in the countryside, and here it is as it enters the main part of Dawlish town to run out to the sea just a few hundred yards further down there. I'm not going to do any more on Dawlish town on this video because you can see that on a separate video on this channel. Just scroll down the videos. We will do Dawlish again maybe in the summer, but if you'd like to see what it looks like out of season in the winter, have a look at another video. Just scroll down the videos on this channel. So that was our look at Dawlish Water, wasn't it? That's just beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Really is a lovely, lovely walk.
It is time for us now to have a sausage roll. I think we deserve it after that walk.
And a pint of water.
Oh yeah, hard drinkers here, you see. Thank you so much for watching, and do join us again on the next one very soon. Bye bye for now.
Bye.